Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Let's kick off with a story where OP's Excel expertise leads to some workplace chaos. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with a turned-on bell. Here we go. Delete it? You sure? Okay. So I'm a fiend for Excel spreadsheets, absolutely love them, and even bought an extra wide monitor for home so I can see them in all their glory. My boss keeps telling me that she's an advanced Excel user. She can run macros, she can do pivot tables, she knows formulas. Not once have I seen her create or manipulate a spreadsheet in the 6 months I've worked for her. So I had a template on our Teams chat that we used every week. It was automated to within an inch of its life to tell us about the company's health. We've been using it for the last 4 months after I was given approval by the boss to make it live, gave her a tutorial and everything. This was for the admins to all see it, and I'd only need to update the raw data once a week instead of send it manually to whoever wanted it on a given day, up to 4 times a day usually. Took out about 6 hours work a week having it set up like that. Well, the boss told me to take it down because a different department who hadn't seen it was worried about personal data when one of the admins told them about it. There isn't anything like that in there, and anything that isn't open access is password hidden anyway. Our IT team has to be formally requested to add a new member to our team's chat. The spreadsheet is password protected, the tabs are password protected, and the whole company is locked down hard anyway. So boss orders me to take it down and delete it, run a fresh one for anyone who wants it. So I explained there wasn't anything in it that was personal or private data, but got told, nope, delete it. Tried to explain we use it amongst the admins every day and it has all these built-in features, tables, etc. Nope, delete it. So I did. The fallout? Read on. Cue today, boss says to me her big boss meeting is presenting figures to the executives tomorrow. She starts quoting figures that are wildly out from the true numbers. I questioned where they came from, and she shows me a Frankenstein report that's saying the exact opposite of what she thought, run by someone not even in our department. I tell her the accurate grand total and show her how I got there with a simple table and some screenshots I had of the original shared spreadsheet. She asks for access, and I tell her it's been deleted. I explained why and even showed the meeting notes where she had approved its use after viewing it. She denies any knowledge of it, but wants it back. I said it'd take me 2 to 3 days to make it again due to my workload increases. I saved a copy of the template, but no way am I telling her that. This will give me breathing room to get the backlog out of my queue while she thinks I'm working on it. Let her sweat through that executive meeting knowing every figure is wrong. No one's saving her butt in this team anymore. Update. 3 weeks later and said spreadsheet has never been reproduced. The reason? Our new admin started. The one who got hired is more qualified than me. I'm not handing anyone away to look good in front of the boss on my labor. When questioned about lack of spreadsheet appearing, I responded, I'm no longer the most experienced Excel user in the team and think new hire will make a much better version. I'm looking forward to learning some tips and tricks from them. Spoiler, she's a standard user. Giggles maniacally. Whenever a boss asks for something to be deleted or any change that you know is going to cause havoc, get it in writing or email. And our second story. How we took back our driveway from inconsiderate neighbors. Living in a suburban neighborhood, you'd expect a little peace and quiet, right? Well, not in my case. I've got these neighbors who seem to have made it their life's mission to make things as difficult as possible. The issue started with our shared driveway situation. Our houses both have driveways that extend from an alley behind our homes, which is pretty common in the area. But here's where it gets ridiculous. They decided to completely fence in their backyard. No driveway access for them anymore, which meant they parked their cars out front on the street. You'd think that would be the end of it, but no. The problem started when they began having their lawn care crew and other service trucks roll up. And guess where they'd park? Yep, right in our driveway. These weren't small trucks either. We're talking big commercial lawn trucks, the kind that take up a ton of space with trailers and equipment. They would block our entire driveway for hours, sometimes 3 or 4 hours at a time, loading and unloading. It became a regular occurrence, at least once a week. At first, we thought it was just a misunderstanding. I mean, it was annoying, but we figured maybe the service crew didn't realize they were in the wrong driveway. But that hope quickly faded when we realized it wasn't just the workers' fault. These guys would park their trucks in our driveway, and then they'd walk right through our yard around the side of our house just to get to the neighbor's backyard where they were doing all the work. You can imagine what that did to our grass and flower beds. It felt like an invasion of privacy, having them march through our property like it was some kind of public access path. After a couple of times dealing with this, we figured it was time to talk to the neighbors directly. We wanted to be civil about it, so my dad went over one day while the trucks were parked in our driveway. He knocked on their door, explained the situation, and politely asked if they could tell their lawn crew to park elsewhere and stop cutting through our yard. You'd think that'd be the end of it, right? Nope. They just brushed him off like it wasn't their problem. We'll talk to them, they said, but nothing changed. Week after week, the trucks kept coming, blocking our driveway, and the workers continued treating our yard like their personal shortcut. Enough was enough. We tried being polite, we tried being reasonable, and none of it worked. So we decided to take matters into our own hands. My dad bought a huge private property, no parking violators will be towed sign, and we placed it right by the entrance of our driveway. Big and bold. There was no way anyone could miss it. We thought for sure that would send the message, but apparently these neighbors just didn't care. The very next week, the lawn care truck was back in our driveway, and this time we weren't going to sit back and let them keep doing this. We watched them park and begin unloading their equipment like it was any other day. No acknowledgement of the sign, no knock on our door to ask for permission, nothing. That's when we decided enough was enough. If they weren't going to respect our property, we'd follow through with our warning. I grabbed my phone, called the local towing company, and gave them the details. They were happy to help. I could barely hold back a grin when the tow truck rolled up about 30 minutes later. The lawn crew didn't even realize what was happening until the tow truck driver hooked up their vehicle. You should have seen the looks on their faces when they rushed out, scrambling to stop the tow. One of the workers ran over to me, clearly panicked. "Wait, what are you doing? You can't tow our truck." I shrugged. "There's a sign right there. You're parked on private property, blocking our driveway. We've asked you multiple times not to park here." He stammered, "But we're just here for the job. We won't be long." "We warned you. We even put up a sign. You ignored it. Now your truck's getting towed." The tow truck driver, completely unfazed, finished hooking up the truck and drove off, with the lawn care crew staring in disbelief as their vehicle disappeared down the alley. It was one of the most satisfying moments I've ever experienced. Later that day, my neighbor came stomping over, furious. "Why the hell did you tow our lawn guy's truck? You could have just told us." I raised an eyebrow, completely unimpressed. "We did tell you, multiple times actually. You ignored us. So we followed through with the sign's warning. This wouldn't have happened if you had respected our property." They huffed and puffed, but they knew they were in the wrong. After a bit more arguing, they finally stormed off back to their house. We haven't had a single issue with service vehicles blocking our driveway since then. I guess sometimes people just need a little reminder that you can't walk all over your neighbors without consequences. And our last story. I'm 22, Nancy is 18. We grew up together since she was born. For years now, she's begged her parents for a dog and volunteered at the shelter to learn proper caring. Last month, for her birthday, she got the okay to pick any dog she wanted. She chose a 5-year-old greyhound from the shelter that was known for her aggressive behavior towards everyone but her, due to an abusive past. He'd bonded with her, and she called him Snoop because she's a huge Snoop Dogg fan and saw the chance for a pun. To make sure Snoop couldn't hurt anyone, they put a higher fence around their yard, and they had to put a lock on both gates to the front and the one in my backyard after we found he can open doors when he attacked me while gardening. Also, they planted bushes along the fence and placed several signs saying, "Warning, aggressive dog, will bite and attack. Do not touch, let out, or go in." Idiot-proof, right? Well, not so much. Last Saturday, we had a neighborhood girls-only barbecue at my place, 11 girls aged 7 to 22, because we're a bunch of sisters, honestly. Nancy and I made sure none of the younger girls could even accidentally open the gate as Snoop was outside in their yard, and even with Nancy there, he was still aggressive. though she was professionally training him and it was all starting to get better. They still had a long way to go to allow emergency exits from their yard into ours, the gates locked with a mere long hook that wasn't reachable for kids. As we were just doing our thing, we'd been on it for hours. Snoop started barking vividly. Again. So we didn't quite care since one of us probably had gotten too close to the fence while playing. Dead wrong. One of the girls came up to us telling there was someone with Snoop, and that's when we heard the screaming. Nancy smashed through the gate, I behind her, but on my side of the fence securing the gate. There stood EM, kicking aggressive Snoop away over and over again and still kicking him when he backed off, whining while EK was on the ground behind her, screaming in pain. Note, we had absolutely no idea who they were or how or why they'd gotten in. Nancy, stop! What are you doing? She pushed EM back to put herself in front of her dog. EM, this dog bit my daughter. It's an aggressive beast. Nancy, why are you even in our backyard? EM, EK wanted to pet your hellhound. Now look at her. At this point, I snapped back into reality. Each party had someone injured here. The girl was crying, and Snoop didn't even bark at the strangers anymore. So I entered the yard, and Snoop doesn't budge at all. Definitely something wrong. Me, stop fighting and care for Snoop. Ma'am, does your daughter need an ambulance? That at least broke them apart, but the girl did indeed need an ambulance. Her hand looked pretty torn up, so I made the call, and because it had to be, the ambulance arrived with the police car in tow. Damn, that moment I knew we were doomed. Nancy had by now called the home call vet. Snoop wasn't doing well either. I'd never seen the dog this quiet, and I feared the worst. The policemen, P1 and P2, approached me first. P1, are you the caller? Can you tell us what exactly happened? Me, yeah, this woman and her daughter somehow got into here to pet the dog, but the dog has aggression issues, which he's in training for, and the situation escalated. The girl got bitten and the woman injured the dog. P2, who's the dog's owner? Me, that would be N? Nancy was crying, Snoop in her arms, begging for him not to leave her, so the policeman kept talking to me. P2, do you know her well? Me, I do. We lived door to door since we were born. We were all in my yard having a barbecue when this happened. I have no idea who these two are or how they got in here. I unlocked the front gate to let you in. They must have climbed the fence. EM burst into the conversation. Of course we climbed the fence. The door was locked and my daughter wanted to pet the dog. I was baffled how stupidly she just admitted to that, and then we all got distracted for a moment when the vet showed up. Me, ma'am, there are literally warning signs all around the house. Why would you climb the fence? You injured Snoop and your daughter got hurt too. EM, every dog owner has those signs up. They don't mean anything. We've never been attacked like that before. Yes, she was indeed that dumb, saying this wasn't her first time trespassing. I wanted to lose my crap on her. P1, me, you said this dog has a reputation? Were there former attacks? Me, sure I was dooming Snoop, but I had to tell the truth because policeman. Well, he has aggression issues. Everyone here knows that. The thing is that he's okay with Nancy around, though, and they're training hard to better his behavior. PN, but were there other attacks? Me, only one on me right after they took him in last month. No, honestly, I knew about more, but I'd already said too much. They merely nodded it off, go to talk to N. I stopped EM, who was about to stomp after them. Me, you've done enough damage here. Maybe try being a mom and see your kid. EM, how dare you? She was actually raising her hand, threatening to slap me. Me, loudly, do it. I want a reason to beat you. I really don't care anymore. Hell, we were both out of line there. A minute later, EM and EK were off in the ambulance. The policeman said that we'd be notified about everything else and left as well. And our party was over. It was our 5th annual girls' barbecue and probably our last, shadowed by this event and the aftermath of it. Since it's only been a week, I can't say who'll be held responsible for what. There were no further trials yet, but if EM doesn't get one for trespassing, I'm going to lose faith in law. Update. Guys, it happened. They managed to prove this wasn't the first time EM and EK trespassed to pet a dog. Along with that, they proved she damaged fences and gates to get to the animals. She's got a couple of other people charging her for that now. Also, the father, who divorced EM and was trying to get full custody for EK for some time, has now won exactly that. EM lost custody for EK. Kind of sad for the girl, but maybe better too. She left you no choice. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.